Yes, it's Uncle Jegz, and now we're on the photosynthesis part of the required practical of your combined science GCSE. This video is broken down into these three sections. Number 1, what is photosynthesis? Number 2, what affects the rate of photosynthesis? And number 3, the required practical, of course. As always, check out the description to download the worksheet for today's lesson and also the answers to the previous video's worksheet. Alright, let's do this thing. Photosynthesis is one of the 2 most important chemical reactions that you have to pattern for your science GCSE. Think about what plants need. They need water through their roots and carbon dioxide through the air. This makes oxygen and glucose. You need to be able to write the balanced equation for this as well. We all know that H2O, CO2 and O2 are chemical formulas for water, carbon dioxide and oxygen respectively. So all you really need to learn is what glucose is and also how to balance the thing. Not to worry, glucose is C6H12O6. I know it looks a bit nuts at the moment, but just spend like 10 minutes memorizing it, then you'll be all good. I'm pretty sure I'm about to upset some of my African aunties and uncle now, but to remember how to balance this, yeah, you just have to think about the devil. The devil's number is 666. Jesus is Lord! I know, I have a skull on my finger and now I'm telling you 666. Uncle, auntie, I'm not taking them to the dark side, oh, don't worry, oh. Anyway, putting all that together, you get 6H2O plus 6CO2, giving you 6O2 plus C6H12O6. Now plants aren't just making this glucose for the benefit of us animals, they use it too. Remember that they have mitochondria in their cells as well, so they also perform aerobic respiration. They of course use the glucose for active transport in their roots as well. And also they use nitrates that they absorb from their roots along with the glucose from their leaves to make amino acids and therefore proteins. Yeah, photosynthesis is a lot. It's also classified as an endothermic reaction because it's taking energy from its environment, light energy, as opposed to an exothermic reaction which would release energy into the surroundings. More on that in the future video. There are 3 main things that affect the rate of photosynthesis. That's carbon dioxide, light intensity, and also temperature. Also, technically, the amount of chlorophyll will affect the rate of photosynthesis as well. Obviously, the higher the concentration of chlorophyll inside your chloroplast, the higher the rate of photosynthesis. The graph for CO2 concentration and the rate of photosynthesis looks like this. This is the raw material that is needed to make glucose. So if you're lacking in carbon dioxide, you won't be able to make as much glucose and therefore the rate of photosynthesis will be low. The graph for light intensity and photosynthesis looks like this. This is the input energy that actually breaks the bonds in your reactants. The higher the light intensity, the more bonds that can be broken in your reactants and therefore the higher the rate of photosynthesis. And finally, the graph for temperature and photosynthesis looks like this. Temperature is all about the kinetic energy of the particles. The more thermal energy in the reaction, the faster the particles are moving and therefore the higher the kinetic energy. This means that the particles are more likely to collide together more often, therefore increasing the rate of photosynthesis. But remember my video on enzymes. If you increase the temperature too much, your enzymes will denature. Check out that video if you want to know more about enzymes and active sites. Here are the summary notes for all of that. The most likely investigation you would do is this. Investigate the effect of light intensity on the rate of photosynthesis. This practical can be a bit fiddly, but here are the steps. Number 1, you put like 10 centimeters of your pondweed into a beaker of water. Number 2, cover the pondweed with an inverted filter funnel with plasticine on the edge, so this keeps it off the bottom of the beaker. Number 3, fill your measuring cylinder with water and gently position it in the way that you see me drawing down here, yeah? Number 4, use a ruler to place the light 1 meter away. Number 5, start the stopwatch and count the number of bubbles released. Number 6, after 3 minutes, stop counting and measure the volume of gas that you came out from the pondweed into your measuring cylinder. Number 7, record your results in a table like this and repeat the experiment for the other distances. You're likely to do this next one as a practical in your school, but these examiners might ask you a question like this, with a hypothesis like this. Investigate the effect of different wavelengths of light on the rate of photosynthesis. Don't get rattled by all of this, The only changes you need to make here is to keep your distance the same. In the previous one, we were changing the distance because of light intensity, but that's not what we're changing here. So keep your distance the same. And instead, we're measuring the number of bubbles and volume of gas produced in 3 minutes for the different colors of light. So we're changing the wavelengths of light. This can easily be done by using light filters. Distance is a control variable in this experiment, so you keep the distance the same. So let's say like 30 centimeters away. Your independent variable is the color of the light, the different wavelengths of light. Everything else is exactly how we had it before. And that's photosynthesis, the required practical. We will do more work on the actual theory behind chemical reactions in photosynthesis and all of that, about how farmers make profit, but that's way far in the future. This is just a required practical. Like if you like, subscribe if I'm necessary, and in a bit.